Welcome back to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Season 3 is here and we're excited to dive into the core of communication, relationships, and leadership.
We're your hosts, Bella and Lee, a husband and wife duo with a successful business helping couples and organizations get it together to play a bigger game and elevate their relationships and performance.
We believe in keeping it real, so each week we'll bring you incredible guests, entrepreneurs sharing their authentic experiences, along with episodes featuring just the two of us tackling the tough topics.
So, if you're ready to enhance your connections and sharpen your leadership skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Today we have a returning guest, Meaghan Alton. She is a business strategist with a master's in economics and over a decade of experience helping energy-sensitive entrepreneurs build sustainable, profitable businesses. By implementing a simple framework, she guides clients creating predictable revenue through a clear client path. Meaghan combines data-driven strategies with nervous system intelligence, enabling entrepreneurs to work smarter and grow with ease while nurturing important relationships. Whether through group mentorship or private coaching, she empowers clients to achieve clarity and consistent income. So welcome back, Meaghan.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's so awesome to have you back. It's been a minute.
It's been like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. A year, 2 years?
Yeah, something
Couple
like
minutes.
that. Yeah, definitely couple minutes. And we just had to have you back because you do such fascinating work. So it's been fascinating because of the work that you've been doing and just growing and evolving. Lee and I have a business for communication leadership development. And what you do really aligns with what we are up to as well. So do you want to tell us a little bit, refresh people's memories on what exactly it is that you do?
Yes. I love this. So there's a few things. I've been working for about 14 years now as a business coach, helping entrepreneurs grow their business. And it's very much about understanding how your relationship with your clients, with your colleagues, helps move your business forward and understanding the client journey, where you're getting people, where you're losing people. And numerology is a tool that I will also bring into that because it helps us to understand who we are. It helps us to understand what our strengths are, what our assets are, the gifts that we're here to carry, and where we get a sense of fulfillment. But it can also show us where we might have gaps, where we might have blind spots, where we might not, notice certain things about ourselves or even our clients, and how we can understand people at kind of a deeper level.
Okay, well, tell us a bit more about, because before we got into this, we're having a pretty cool conversation just around numerology, right? And so maybe just give us a bit of some context behind what is numerology for those that have never heard about it or don't know a lot about it. And that kind of what that can do for people.
Yeah. So numerology is, I basically say it's using numbers to interpret energy. That's the gist of it. Numbers are symbols, right? Whether you're using them for accounting or anything like that, numbers tell stories. And so when you understand the energy behind the numbers, you actually get a very rich and dynamic story. So numerology is a very ancient tool. I would say the type of numerology that's most commonly talked about is popularized by Pythagoras, who was a mathematician thousands of years ago. And he actually used it in a personal development context, even back then, to help understand, who are you? What gives you a sense of fulfillment? What is, the purpose as to why you're here? What is the energy that you contribute to relationships, to, colleagues, clients, and basically how you do what you do. And it's beyond the doing part, right? It really does speak to, the energy that you hold in a space with someone.
So energy, right? So really the numerology is a symbol of energy. So are we saying that there's different types of energies related to different numbers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every number has energy that it signifies. And there's empowered aspects of every number and there's disempowered aspects of every number. I always say that energy runs on a bandwidth, kind of like a battery. So you might think like there's an opportunity or a plus, and there's a challenge or the minus of a battery. And so when you're working with any particular number, it's going to illuminate to you things that you can do that would help you. Now, it needs to be in the context of, maybe a goal or a project you're working on. And it's like, how can I use this energy to help move me forward? And you'll also notice, depending on what's happening, that there's ways that energy might be trying to trip you up. And that would be kind of the minus side of the battery. And like, oh, there's maybe some growth work here, or there's some self-reflection or some, difficult conversations to be had to kind of improve that energy flow there. So, when we're looking at individuals, it comes from the day you were born. So the digits of your birthday, and each number contains different energy, as well as when you add up all the numbers, you get like a big number, and then you'll put those two again together and you'll end up with, we look at numbers 2 through 11 when we're looking at a ruling number or a life path number.
Awesome. Like what I love about this is we have a leadership identity assessment that we give to our clients, which also is based on that energy and who you truly are as a leader, and how you can, what are your winning formulas and what are your blind spots. So it really mirrors exactly what you were saying, within the numbers.
That's right.
I want to play a little fun game because as a couple, and entrepreneurs and a couple that works together, you took our numbers.
Yes.
And we wanted to see how we communicate and how these numbers help us to move forward and move past some of those limitations.
I was going to say, I think it's also though about understanding where our energies based on numerology can also get in the way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, where do they give us the power, but where do they also trip us up?
Yeah, for sure. And, whenever I'm reading for someone, I always think it's really important that you hear what I have to say and then you opt in or opt out. Like, yes, that's relevant for me, or no, that's not relevant for me. And that we kind of get to choose. I know for me, the first time I had someone run my numerology, which was probably about 15 years ago now, I was like, that's not me. That's not me at all. And it actually caused quite a reaction in me. And as I went home and thought about it later, I was like, I wish that was me, but it's not me. And that was interesting because that was that sign of there was a part of me that had kind of gone dormant that wanted to come out again, but hadn't been given permission. And then the numerology was like, okay, there might be a little permission slip in this, but you're going to have to do some personal growth work before you can really embody that.
Yeah. And definitely it is about that personal growth. Like what you do with the information is up to you.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do these assessments, will do, the numerology, and then it's a fun thing to do. And then they'll do nothing and then be like, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so. And then what?
And then what?
And then what, right? Like, what are you doing for your growth? What are you doing to look at your blind spots? Where is the growth in all of that? Because you still have to do the work. And I want to go back to what you said. It's like when we run the identity assessment, there's a primary and a secondary. And, there was a couple of people who are like, well, I am actually more my secondary on a day-to-day.
In life, right outside of work, they found that they were more actually their secondary identity that showed up for them was more of like their true, self, where their primary was like how they were conditioned. They feel like to work, like I have to be this way to be successful at work, but it's kind of not aligned with who I feel I truly am. Right. Do you get some of that as well?
All the time,
Yeah.
all the time, because, you know, in order to succeed, whether it's in school and society and work and career, in your family, you know, there's certain traits that are considered more desirable. So we will often pick up traits that might not be our natural essence and use them. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it's a conditional response. And the question to ask ourselves is, does that actually energize me, fulfill me, and give me life force energy? Or am I doing it because I'm supposed to, because it's appreciated, or I'm given acceptance or approval because of it? And sometimes it's hard to untangle those, right?
Yeah.
Because acceptance and approval feels good. Like people want that. But it's like, does it actually fulfill me? And am I actually operating to my highest potential? What else could be available if I can take the skills I adapted as well as my truest essence and use those together? Now what's available to me?
Yeah.
So shall we get into what our numerology says about us?
Yeah, I think that would be a good segue to see how we work together and certain aspects of our life. When you were saying a couple of things, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is totally me. And yeah.
Well, yeah. So this is important. Why? It's important because in any relationship, especially, at the beginning, whether it's in business, in, a romantic relationship, or in our case, both, the beginning stages is like you get along, right? Everything's about how things work and align. And then over time, there's more stuff that starts to come out. Well, oh, here are the differences, right? Here are how things don't align. And so the power comes in not just where these energies work together, but where are those points where maybe they can cause conflict. That brings the awareness to, okay, how do I pivot?
And how do I show up for my partner?
Yes.
Knowing those triggers, knowing their way of communicating, really helps bridge the gap in that miscommunication and resentment, because that tends to build if we're not knowing how to communicate with each other and knowing our partner on a deeper level. You know how we get together, it's all the first love, everybody's on their best behavior, and then you start living into your true self, true essence. But we don't actually ask the question when things shift, right? We start going, oh, well, you're not the same person I married, or you're not the same person, but I actually was the same person. But the things that didn't bother you before are bothering you now because we weren't looking and presenting our true selves at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens is, now what tools do we need to get to be able to actually communicate and live in harmony versus in disharmony? I don't know.
No, and without casting those filters onto each other, right? And when we talk about filters, the right, wrongs, the agree, disagrees, those types of things, because here we are, just an example of yesterday, where we've got some increased work clientele, so good problem to have. But part of my winning formula is work ethic based. And so I step into my doing and I'm just hammering out things, and I will lose track of time, not just hours, days, where all I'm focused on is up early till late at night, just doing. And if her default listening is, or meaning making is, he doesn't care about family, right? Then all of a sudden the conversation starts off with making me wrong about the work versus, okay, his, default energy is to be, a builder and driving things forward. Okay, I just need to remind him that too much of that is also not good. So coming in from a place of love versus coming in from a place of making me wrong.
And the language shifts too, by me being able to really verbalize what I'm feeling in that moment, right? So I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling disconnected, I'm feeling like I am not part of whatever's going on here. So we need to find a way to reconnect and fill my bucket, because your bucket is being filled. But now I'm feeling like I'm not a part of this marriage, this partnership. Before that, we wouldn't be able to verbalize that, right? So having those tools and having that safe space and learning about each other, that's the key, and working on ourselves to not press those triggers, to not press those buttons that we want to, you know, sometimes the elevator, I just want to go down.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I do, but that I know that's not going to serve me, it's not going to serve us, and it's not going to serve our family. But I'm aware of that. Those were the blind spots that were brought to the forefront for me, for us, and we're able to work together towards our vision, mission, our goal, individually, as a family, as a partnership.
So let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so should we start with Bella?
Yes.
Yes, we should.
Okay, so Bella, you're a 22-4. So your ruling number is 4. It's made up of 2 2s. And so the 2 2s have a very strong influence as well. You can almost think of like 4 is my number, but 2 is also my number. And 4 means that you have this very strong visionary leadership quality that is highly relational. So the people you spend time with, the people you connect with, the connection is everything, and relationship is everything. So even in the story you guys use as an illustration as perfect sense, you're like, I'm over here, I'm a 1 and I'm supposed to be a 2. What's happening? Right? Like that makes perfect sense. And so I mean, I always think so much of challenge and conflict can be resolved when people feel seen, heard, and understood. Right. It's like, if I feel seen, heard, and understood, is I'm carrying this vision of partnership, whether it's in my relationship, whether it's with clients and colleagues, you know, whatever it is, the relationship is the root of all of it for me, particularly as it applies to pursuing a common vision, a common goal. Like you're holding space for something. Right. And it's like, how do people come together and create something that I want to hold space for? That's kind of ultimately how I would see the 22-4 playing out. Do you want me to get into some of the other bits as well that I mentioned? Okay, 100%. So
the overall unfiltered. Let's go. Give it to me.
So, well, I thought this was interesting. You both have the arrow of frustration, which is fascinating, because the arrow of frustration is one of those influences in numerology that people love to hate. Right? It's like, oh, it's so frustrating. But it's like the arrow of frustration is the red flag that shows you when you're out of alignment. And so it's like frustration for you isn't meant to be something you force. It's meant to be something to notice of like, what is the frustration showing me as to where something is blocking my path, where something is off course or off path or out of alignment for me. And so you want to take it in. It's like, oh, I'm frustrated because this isn't my road. There's something in the way. There's something not quite right. I need to pause and assess for a minute and figure out what would get the frustration away, and then do that. And then it will flow. Right. So it's actually a frustrating, but handy influence, because it will create better alignment, and that means more flow.
Well, I love that, because we talk a lot about discomfort not being something that you need to avoid or get used to in a context where, oh, discomfort is now comfortable for me. Discomfort is an indicator. It's a data point to say, pay attention. Why am I feeling uncomfortable about this? It's the body's way of saying this is a situation or a conversation or whatever that you need to pay attention to, not divert your attention away from.
Well, and I love that, because I would 100% agree. It's like, this is information. Once I process the information, then I'll know what to do. And that's where I think it goes sideways when people have the, you know, expressions in their mind of like, feel the fear and do it anyways. And it's like, well, there's times when we do need to do that, but there's other times when that feeling is coming up to cause us to make a shift, to make an adjustment, to make a tweak. It might be a massive shift, or it might be something small. But if we don't process that information and we try to just bulldoze through, that's not helpful.
No, because you can bulldoze through that fear when you think about just do it anyway. You can bulldoze through without understanding why is that fear, that discomfort there in the first place. So then all you're going to end up doing is constantly bulldozing through that same thing over and over again.
And no lessons to be learned. Like, you don't know why. And then you come out on that other end going, I'm still here. I'm still not where I want to be. So I did the hard thing.
And now I got to do it
what?
again.
And I have to do it again. And it's this constant perpetual cycle because we don't question our own feelings and why, right? And that's the beauty of these tools. They're just like you said, information to give us a starting point to start looking inward, going, why am I feeling this? Why am I doing it this way? Why am I allowing, this relationship to make me feel a certain way? It's not always like on the outside. A lot of this work is on the inside, and it is important to do the work. Otherwise, it's just a fun thing to do.
Right? Exactly. Well, and I didn't mention this before when I was talking about the 4, but one of the shadow traits of the 4, or the disempowered aspects of the 4, is carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Oh, that is so you.
That's totally me.
And knowing that this arrow of frustration is meant to help you, these multiple 2s are meant to help you. It's like you're meant to turn towards relationship, or if you're noticing that frustration creep in, it's like, okay, information, what is this information trying to tell me? So I can shift out of carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders and shift back into holding a vision for some relational goal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's just,
He's like,
yeah, yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah. It is. It's hard for me not to because I care so much, but it's at the expense of my own being, my own self. So, he's really good at stepping in and going, okay, simmer down, chopstick. We need you to rest and digest versus constantly being in a fight and flight because I'm managing so much. And what of those things that are on my plate, on top of my shoulder, or per se, are not for me to carry. So do I just give them back to, and the responsibility to, the person that I'm taking it from?
Yeah. Another beautiful part of, these tools and conversations is about language, right? Being able to use this language as a way of expanding the conversations that we have and the possibility of what can come out of them. Because we talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy. And so we're able to use those terminologies now, not in a blaming way, but sometimes I could just say, hey, you're leaning into your masculine and that's not where you need to be right now. And then she's just like, oh, yeah. That's right.
That's the distinction is between the doing and the being.
Yes.
Even it's hard for me sometimes to disconnect and just take care of me. Because I feel like if I'm just laying on the couch or if I'm laying in bed, I'm feeling ill, but I'm not doing anything. That uncomfortableness, I need to explore. Why is it uncomfortable for me to be just laying and taking care of me?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, are you allowed to just exist?
Right? Who am I if I'm not all these things and I'm just Bella in bed because I'm feeling like I'm coming down or I'm run down or I'm like an orange in the burnout? It's like, well, I'm not a red yet, in the burnout scenario. I can still push it and then I'll die.
Or like, imagine this, that you rested for no reason. Like, imagine that.
I know, right? Holy man, that's another concept, to rest with no reason. I'm gonna have to explore that because that's a foreign concept to me.
Well, and the weight of everything on your shoulders. I mean, we even just had a conversation a week ago, I think, maybe 2 weeks, where we constantly live in this world of polarization. Something is or isn't. And so when we've got a lot of things to do, it feels like we have to say yes or no, and that they're both finite. That if we say yes to something, we can't later say no, or once we say no to something, we can't come back and say yes to it. So we say, you know what? Not now.
Yes.
Right?
I introduced this concept. We did a ladies getaway, and that concept shifted a lot of mindsets because it's not so finite. Yes or no are. It's either yes, you're committed and now, integrity kicks in. No, same thing, you're committed. But with not now or later.
Yeah.
But the not now was so powerful because we only have so much that we can hold on to or carry on our shoulders. And although I do want to, not now, this is not the time. So the power of, because I know there's a lot of like the power of no, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we've shifted into the power of not now. It gives us so much more flexibility, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Not to shut it down because maybe it's not aligned today, but in a month, in a year, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So not saying that definite no, just saying not now.
Well, and I think to your point around the languaging is really interesting because, looking at, let's talk about just like the vision holding versus weight of the world on your shoulders and the ability to take time to rest, right? If part of my essence is relational and holding a vision. So by resting, how am I actually contributing to vision and relational connection? And as soon as you figure out that association, you can be like, oh my gosh, the best thing I can do right now is rest because I'll actually be able to see the vision more clearly, or I'll actually have, a more regulated nervous system for the next conversation I have. Right. And so then it almost gives you the permission slip you need of like, this is the recipe for me to live into my strength and my essence and my purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true because there's times I do a lot of events. I do a lot of networking. That fills my bucket. I love people. I love being around people. I love enrolling them in our vision, our mission, and into our lives. But that takes a lot of energy to be constantly on. So having that time to rest and recharge and be alone is really important. Sometimes it's difficult when, we have all the females living in the house and we're all traveling together to have that alone time. But there has to be a balance, for me. I can't be always alone because then I feel this isn't me, this is not energy. But yes, having that rest so I can show up as the best version of myself, not just the best version, just as myself, who I am, is important to have that rest, which I don't give myself enough permission to do because I feel like I have so much on my shoulders because I care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the power of not now allows you to take some of those things and put them down, right? So that you can take care of the things that are a yes now.
Thanks,
right?
coach.
And sometimes
coaches.
And sometimes it's a lot of the times it's you. Right? Like you need to prioritize self-care, right? And that's for everybody.
Yeah.
And all too often we end up living into this. Taking care of yourself somehow has become selfish, and selfish becomes something to be shameful over. So we need to break that and say, no, I mean, you do need to look after yourself. It's okay to say not now to people and things so you can get your rest, so that you can exercise, so that you can get your morning started. And then you have more clarity. You've got more energy to be able to tackle things with a lot more velocity than if you were tapped out. Right. Because I also want to say too, when you were talking, like we're all some version of like an ambivert. Most people think that there's either extroverts or introverts. And although they're a rarity. We all either are, maybe a little bit more extrovert, but we still have introvert parts of us, or the other way around. And so being tuned into when we're spending a lot of time in crowds with people that does give us energy until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, we need to step back, kind of step into our introvert, fill our bucket up that way, whether just alone time, whatever that is, right? Resting, reading, meditating, exercising, whatever. But too much of that can then flip the script and also drain you. And then you got to get back out.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to the whole language on it's become this word of taking care of yourself is selfish. But there's a lot of out there that's like, oh no, self-care is so important. And then, oh my gosh, there's so much judgment because look at them or look at her. She's taking so much time. Oh, must be nice, right? There's so much noise out there that it's hard to filter of what your true essence is if you don't do that work, if you don't use those tools, because we're constantly bombarded. Or even having somebody like a coach, you know, a relationship, whatever, for business, to bring you back out of those blind, like what you don't see is you don't see, until you start speaking to somebody who's on the outside and they're able to pull you out of that tunnel vision and say, hey, there's opportunity here for you to grow. There's opportunity here. But you have to then do the work. We can only show you the blind spots. We can only show you certain things. And what you do with it is up to you. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to pitch this. Always have somebody working with you, whether it's in business, in relationship, because you don't know what you don't know.
It's
and
so
once
true.
you outgrow your coach or whoever, it's same with psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, whatever. If you're stuck in the same loop, move on.
Try something different.
Try something different.
Mix it up.
Mix it up, right?
Yep.
But because we get so comfortable in what we know, we just continuously, oh, this is just me. Oh, this is just life. Oh.
And
right?
that is one of the things that I think drives me crazy is when people use either their current reality or even a system like numerology or any type of typing system to argue for their limitations. Like, well, I'm this, so I could never be this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they don't work that way.
Yeah. This is what your numbers say. This is what our leadership identity says. And these are your strengths and these are your blind spots. And now you need to work them.
And what do you want to do with that?
Yes.
Like, does that serve where you're headed?
Yeah.
Or is there something else you need to bring on board or further develop to help you get to where you want to go? And this is where I think having that sense of the vision, the mission, where I want to be is helpful, because otherwise this is all information, but like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
It's like, does it help me move the needle forward? Does it help me have a stronger sense of confidence, a stronger sense of balance? Like, what is it that's going to help me get to where
there.
I want to be?
Yeah. But first you need to know what it is that you want.
It's like the map.
It is, right?
Yeah. So now I'm curious. So her numbers have her kind of like on a default of weight of the world on my shoulders.
That would be a challenge associated with the 4.
Right. So when she's up against that frustration, what through this process, what's available to her now to be able to like work through that?
Yeah, well, a couple things. Number one, having multiple ones in your chart and an isolated 3, you have a lot of creative ideas and you're meant to express them. So being able to, and because again, relationship is so important for you, having those people in your life that you can bounce these ideas off of, you know, talk or sort of think out loud, events where you can be sharing ideas, masterminding, that kind of thing will be huge, because that's where you're going to have your aha light bulb moments like pop off, right? And then with the weight of the world on your shoulders in particular, you want to think of what's the gift associated with that. So with every challenge, there's a gift. With every gift, there's a challenge. So the gift associated with that is that you're really good at holding a vision, right? But the vision doesn't mean you have to carry it alone.
Yeah.
And so because of the multiple 2s, you want to ask yourself, first of all, what helps me hold a vision the best, right? And then who can I enroll to help me with this vision? Who can I delegate? Who can I enroll? Who can I outsource? Because the partnership, the relationship aspect is so key for you. And if you're carrying the weight of your world, you're not holding a vision in a healthy way, right?
Yeah, that has been a challenge in our business lately, because again, we've tripled our business since we started this vision, mission, and toolbox, I guess. And I need an assistant. It is time, because I am being bogged down with all the things that I don't get lit up.
Yeah. We just had this conversation yesterday as well.
Yeah. I'm like, January, it's happening.
Yes.
Because it's not, we have other coaches and mentors and stuff, but what is it that really is sucking the life out of me, and where I'm not in that creative state, where I don't feel like I'm living into my true essence. I'm just doing. And the more doing I'm doing that's not aligned with who I am and where my energy wants to flow, the more frustrated I get with myself, with my husband, with the children, with everything that's going on, because now I feel, again, the world on my shoulder, and I'm not living my vision, my mission.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we also do is within relationship is we find out what makes us light up, where we cannot hold each other accountable within business relationship, because then it becomes nagging and all the other things. And where do we need to outsource? So what was working for us for the last, couple months is no longer working.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm feeling that extra frustration and not aligned. I'm like, what am I doing? This is not where I want to be. So
Well, and to that point though, I would take that sense of frustration as like almost like a gold star, because it says that you have created forward movement. And the reason you're feeling frustration is because you're ready to transform that next roadblock that's in your way. And so that's like gold star because you've progressed. Okay, now how do I transform this roadblock?
yeah, and those are those growing pains, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now it is time to build another team. We have a team, but now we're growing. When
What's
is
next?
the time? So yesterday was January. We're expanding
Yeah.
because now I'm feeling like I'm not able to grow the way I grow our business, our relationship, because now I'm in the doing too often than in the being.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Okay,
Couldn't
let's
say
do
it
you
any
now.
better.
It's so good. Okay, you ready to do Lee?
Yeah.
So I love this because you, like I said before, you both have the arrow of frustration. So I think this is really powerful. And now knowing that, hopefully that kind of gives you the language when you're seeing it with the other person. It's like, oh, okay, this doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means there's a roadblock. How do we help each other through this? Like, what do you need? That kind of thing. But you're a ruling number 9. And a ruling number 9, it's so interesting because 9 is the last of the single digit numbers. So 9 is like, I'm going to look behind and I'm going to see all the ways things worked, but all the ways things didn't work. And I want to birth a new way going forward. It's time for us to have an up level. It's time for us to have an evolution. So we're going to raise the standard. We're going to raise the bar. And this is why 9 can often be associated with a few things like endings and loss, because it's like, it's the death of the old way of doing things. And so the 9 is very visionary, very humanitarian focused, because again, they care a lot about kind of like raising the bar for the people in their lives or their community or their audience, whatever that looks like. And the shadow traits of the 9 can be like perfectionist tendencies.
When she's laughing, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, tell him he's a perfectionist. And you didn't say I didn't tell you this before. I did not at all. But you're like, oh, the perfectionist. I'm like, oh my goodness, because that is a challenge between us, because I'm a push forward vision this and he's the perfectionist. So he's very meticulous, right? So those are also challenges within relationship and business, like romantically, when you have somebody who's, a perfectionist and somebody who's not.
Yeah.
Well, because the high standard can obviously manifest as itself as not just a high standard out here in the world, but you create a high standard in here.
And
right?
sometimes in growth, this is what we tell our clients, perfectionism can be the killer of growth.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be so perfect that you don't actually get it out. It takes too long. You'll never know if it's perfect unless you try it. You have to go out there and just do it and see what lands.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
That
this
is the
is
hardest thing for a perfectionist.
It really is. And this is the double-edged sword of perfectionism. It's like you are raising the standard. You do have really high, standards for things, and you're not going to accept something that's substandard or subpar. And that's a huge gift. And it's a fine line between this is substandard versus I'm so perfectionist that nothing's good enough or nothing's okay. Right. And so for the 9 to really keep in mind is, if my job is to raise the bar, I need to ask myself, is this raising the bar to like an achievable next step, knowing it's always iterative? I can always switch, change, grow as I move forward. Or is this raising the bar too much that it's unreachable? Because where I find this can sometimes show up, it's not with everybody, but it can sometimes show up, is like, if I raise the bar too high, that almost creates this like safety of like, well, I know I'll never reach it, so it's fine. It can stay in imaginary land, and then I don't actually ever have to take action towards it.
Right.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, because it's a good segue to what I'm about to say. When we work with couples, entrepreneurs or businesses, we never go past a year, right? We're like, what do you want to achieve in the next 12 months? Yes, you have your vision, your goal. However, tangible results come in smaller chunks. So when you set your vision and mission, people are like, oh, I want to make $1 million. Okay, well, what are you making? 75,000. Okay, why don't we get you to 150, 200? Because then you'll get the taste of doubling or tripling your income. But if you don't get there, there's not like, if you don't get to the million in the first year, you'll have that failure sense that, oh, it's not doable. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to make it. But once you start making those, it's like once you make your first 100,000, once you make your first 500, half a mil, I'm like, which one do I say? You can repeat the result, and they are much faster and much easier as you scale.
Yeah.
Then you'll reach a certain level again. You'll have to, you know, get the reins again. But it's 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, 1 year. And it's okay to shift. It's okay to shift your needs and wants, because once you start taking those steps, it's so funny when people actually go through the process with us, and then they start taking the first 3 months on. And they'll come back and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, like this door opened. Yeah, because you started taking those steps and you started speaking into existence the things you wanted versus the things you don't have. And then this door opens, and then you can reassess. Say, is this aligned with my vision and mission? Or is this a distraction? Then we say yay or nay. It's easier to say yes or no, or maybe not now.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have that focal point. Without that focal point, you're mumble jumbled. You're taking things on and you're floating around. You're just like, what am I doing here? Right? Yes, I'm making money some here, maybe a little bit there. And now I'm not making anything because you weren't focused on that pinpoint that you set your goal to be.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have that big, hairy, audacious goal, that vision that anchors you.
Yeah.
Right. But then you got to look at, okay, in the next 12 months, especially if I'm coming from a place, which you should be, I haven't achieved that yet. So what are the systems, the habits, the rituals, the things that I currently don't have that I need to have in place to achieve that goal? Because it's not just forcing yourself to push through and achieve that goal. Because if all it is just sheer will that's driving it, then once you get it, it's not sustainable. If you get it, where building those habits, building those rituals, building those systems, it takes time on the front end, which is why it's so important to kind of boil that down to what does the first year look like? Because then as you start to get closer and closer, if you're building out those systems and rituals, then they compound, they build. And then when you get to that goal, the next goal, right? So if your goal is to go from 75 to 150, using your example that you used, Bella, then to go to 300 will be that much easier because those habits and rituals are going to be in place, those systems to get you there. Still some tweaking. You got to focus on the next year, right? But then there's tweaks, and chances are then you'll, instead of just doubling 150, you're going to triple it, right? Yeah. Or quadruple it. So
Well, to me, this is part of the gift that you carry is because you have the higher perspective, you're able to see these bits and pieces, like see the patterns that other people can't see because they're still like in the forest. And you're like up on the hill looking down like, oh, like, do you see that over there?
Yeah. The maze, it's like guiding from the top
Yeah.
as you have that bird's eye view.
I
right?
can
Is
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
What would be part of the shadow side?
So the perfectionist is the shadow side, which can manifest in like being critical, whether it's self-critical or critical of others, because you're like, I can see everything so clearly. Why can't you? Right. And it's like reminding yourself, well, they have a different perspective. They're in the maze or they're in the forest and you can kind of like guide them, but they're not going to see it as clearly as you are. And so trying to maintain the idea of like, as long as we're moving forward, a couple steps here, forward, back, it is what it is, versus the like perfectionism, which would manifest as like critical, self-critical. Because even when I say self-critical, it's like, again, you have this vision or this perspective of raising the standard. And it's like, you can't always hold yourself to an impossibly high bar either.
Right. Yeah. Which is true.
Yeah. No, it is true. And, you did go through a major shift this year as well. Even with your, like your physical transformation, you set a goal and you're doing it. You tried to enroll me into it, and I'm like, oh my God, that's way too much.
But yeah, also not being a little bit more biased towards action, right? Where it's just the kind of my new mantra that I've been that I've been using kind of in my morning reflections is like my imperfections are actually my sources of strength, right? Because if I was perfect, there'd be no more room for growth, right? Or development. And that's where all of our, power comes from, is knowing where to improve. And where do we improve? Well, things where we're not perfect in, right? And so that's been a big shift for me.
Yeah, it is, and it's a really powerful shift, just from like your personal growth, in that not accepting that you're not perfect, and that I accept you as that.
Yeah, it's like the new high standard. Yeah. Imperfection.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he always wanted to be the perfect husband, the perfect, like all this stuff. But again, certain things, what he thought was perfect, for me, it wasn't. Right.
It's such an interpersonal definition. Like what's perfect to one person's not to someone else.
Yeah. And we weren't having those conversations until we did. And we just like, holy man, what you want and what you think is not what I think. So let's merge our thinking and our communication so we can have a better understanding of what it is that we need individually, but also from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
You're cute.
Oh.
You're cute.
The other piece I wanted to talk about just a little bit, Lee, is the double threes. So creative expression and being able to express your ideas is so important for you. So being able to engage in that as it relates to this higher standard you're creating is super, like it's part of your gift, right? Being able to share ideas, talk things through, make things make sense. It's part of what you're here to do. So that's just the other piece I wanted to mention, because I see that showing up in how you guys have been evolving your business, right? Which is really exciting.
I very interestingly just experienced that as a conflict with the high standard, the needing to express ideas, and perfectionism, how that actually ends up being a bit of a conflict. Because I think about things like the work that we do, podcasting, right? Expressing my ideas outwardly, but the idea that those ideas have to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
In nature.
Yeah. Even with like social media, right?
Yeah.
Like he's getting way better but it was a pain point for us when we started this together, this podcast.
Yeah.
Is because, again, showing up, like, let's do it. One take, it's done. Right? For him, it was so important to get the language right, to look like all that stuff.
How is this going to land with
How
others? Is it going to
so
make a
much?
difference?
Is it like, I'm like, it doesn't always have to be here.
Yeah.
Right. And that was that high standard perfectionism. You can just be here, because there are a lot of people who are still in the weeds.
Yeah.
I always tell my women client is, don't try to constantly be that person that you're admiring. Because what? Because you're here and there are tons of people who have you there. So be okay being who you are today, still grow and want, but don't always want to show up as that person that you're not yet.
Yeah.
You're getting there, you're working towards, but there's a value in every stage of our life.
There
Whether
is.
you're 20, whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, we all come with knowledge and experiences that others haven't gone through yet. So we're kind of losing that because we're always looking to the top. It's like, guess what? We are the top to somebody else. And they're going, holy man, how do you do this? And you're like, what are you talking about? I need to be up here, right? So having value in where you are, and that you're always able to gift people gifts from where you are is so important to recognize while we're, chasing our goals and dreams. Because a lot of people devalue them. Like, they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough education. It's like, let's just pause that for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's
focus on what you do have, because
Yes.
there's some pretty amazing things there.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So
how do I leverage, this power of the numerology, this sudden like aha moment of like, okay, I've got, these two like gifts, right? There's this challenge, right, of perfectionism, and how I can see how that gets in the way of expressing creative ideas, right? And that does light me up. I love whiteboarding. I love coming up with ideas and all that type of stuff. But then ideas turn into like a lack of action because of the perfectionism, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about generating ideas that's an issue for me. It's taking action on it. And getting on a podcast or social media, as you're talking about, is a form of action, right? Of expressing those ideas and stuff. So what is, one or two things that I could use or work on to work through those challenges? Yeah.
So 100% getting on social media or a podcast or a mastermind group and talking through the ideas is huge for you, because it's almost this idea of, the expression thoughts become things. That's very true for you. So the more you talk through it, it almost starts to take form. So you have to trust that the talking is building something.
Don't just keep it to myself.
Don't just keep it to yourself, because
my famous words.
it's when you think of the thing that you're like, it's like a project you're working on or an idea you're working on. It has life to it. So it needs to breathe. It needs to have contribution to it. And so if you're like just holding it in, that's like putting a plant in a room with the lights off. Do you know what I mean? It can't get life force energy to grow and expand and create and receive input, whether it's water and sunshine from other people bouncing ideas off with you, or someone's like, oh, you should read this book, or, oh, I should introduce you to so-and-so. And that is like fertilizer to your idea, right? So that's number one. Number two, I would say, and this goes for all of us when we're looking at the shadows or the gifts associated with our numbers, is when we are depleted, when our nervous system is fried, when we're on the verge of overdoing it, we're going to more likely fall into sabotage. So the criticalness or the perfectionist tendencies, if they're cropping up, I would almost use that as a bit of a flag to be like, oh, like, what do I need to do to chill out? Or do I need to work out? Do I need to walk? Do I need to drink some water? Like, what do I need to do to come back to my center?
I was going to say wine, but okay.
Depends on the day. Like if I'm feeling dysregulation, my default might be the criticalness. So how do I get back to regulation? What does that look like for me? And different days, it's going to be different, right?
Yeah.
And then the other part I would ask myself is the criticism or perfectionism will be the death of this idea. So if criticism is the death of this idea, how do I hold this idea and take a failing step, take a faulty step, take a step that may or may not work? Because again, there's just such a strong visual for your energy of like, it's a plant that needs sunlight and rain and fertilizer, and not taking action on it is robbing it of the resources it needs to grow. And so it's like asking myself, am I actually like working right now through the perfectionism and figuring out what's my next step, or am I robbing it of resources? And then you'll probably know, like, oh yeah, no, I'm kind of stuck right now. Okay, that's fine. Regulate. And then what's the next step?
Yeah. I'm thinking about the fact that when I have an idea, a part of this high standard is also about, I need to know how to get it. I need to know how to achieve the high standard. It's not just about having the idea of this new thing, but how to get there. And then, so not talking about it is because I haven't figured out the how.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is the talking about it is the step to figuring out the how.
It will carve the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I'm feeling. Is that kind of landing for you?
Yeah. No, 1000%.
I mean, that's how I get things done. It's like I have an idea and out there sharing it, right? And then it's like somebody comes into that's what I'm talking about, the doors opening when you're starting. And it's okay to have ideas and some not work out and some change. It's okay to change your mind, and it's okay to take a different road to get to where you need to go. And I always say this example because we set our intention for this year is in September, to move abroad. We were on the path of, we were going to rent our house out for a year and then go move abroad. However, there was this feeling inside, for some reason, the first person, like within 3 days, we had somebody wanting to move in September. Everything checked out. But you know how, as intuitive beings, when you turn into, listening to your intuition, something wasn't sitting right. And then stuff with my mom's health started popping up. So we needed to step back, because it's like, well, if this is a thing, we cannot move forward. We still were moving forward with our business, just the plan shifts. And because of that shift, and we listened, I'm glad we didn't, because we wouldn't have done the things in business. We're still traveling, not the same way. We're still traveling. But if I was so stuck on this is it, right? But within 3 months of us saying that that's where we want to go, this door opened and this door opened. And does that get us here? Oh, hell yes, it does. So I'm just going to take this road. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with change. And a lot of people get stuck on, well, I said so, so now I must.
And that's a form of sabotage, I would say.
100%.
Yeah, like someone's trying to hand you an opportunity here and you're going to refuse it because you said you were going to do something different.
Yes, right? And then,
it's interesting. I think also people have a hard time maybe saying yes to something because they feel like they can't say no to it later. And so they don't say yes to it now because they're unsure.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I have this idea, or whether it's to like step into a certain career or to start a certain business or whatever it might be. But it's like, I don't know if I want to do that though forever.
Yeah.
It's more of like, well, just do it anyway.
Try it and see what happens.
Try it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
because you never know.
Right.
And it's okay. It's like going to university the first year. You take a bunch of courses that I'm like, I'm never going to do like some farm math stuff. Sorry, we're talking about numbers, but numbers have never been my thing, except money in and money out. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
But really, you're trying certain things. I thought I would want to be a nurse. But then we had biology 101 and I had to dissect things and taking blood. Like I fainted. I used to like be
that
in
was
a
special... gift to the world, you not being a nurse.
Yeah, probably. Because I get the heebie-jeebie with moving teeth. Like, But again, I was curious. I went and did it. And then I was like, nope.
Well,
that
that's
is
the
not
thing.
for
The
me.
action gives you information, more
Yes.
data points. And now it's like, now let me reassess.
Yeah. And it's in those actions, right? People say, oh, it's a failure. No, it's a lesson that, okay, this isn't working. It's not working for me. It's not working for my business. It's not working for the family. Because unless you're, alone without anyone and anything around you, it's okay to say, okay, this isn't working. I need to pivot. People are so afraid of change and so afraid of pivoting. And that's why they're stuck in where they are, because they fear the change and the unknown. But guess what? Maybe there's something much more beautiful on the other side if you just let this one thing go.
And knowing, who you are, why you are the way that you are, I think is a huge part of that. So using a tool like this to learn a little bit about kind of your natural energies and how you show up really does provide that context of, okay, why do you feel like you are always taking on the whole world and everything is on your shoulders, right? That provides me some understanding. So then I can show up for her the way that she needs me to, but then also understanding for you to be like, oh, this is why I feel like this sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's not something that, like, for me, knowing these things, right, for me having this kind of tension between how do I act on these, creative ideas and maintain this high standard at the same time, how do they work together? Instead of it being this default, okay, well, I need to dive into books and research and do all these it's a form of, it's
Procrastination.
It's movement, not necessarily action.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm doing things that give me this false sense that I'm actually taking action towards those ideas, but really I'm not. I'm just collecting more information and procrastinating in a, smart way, to make it seem like I'm not. And then, so you see that as no longer having to be like, oh, he doesn't really care about this idea or this vision or whatever, because he's not taking the action. It's like, oh, he's up against, how do you maintain the high standard when you don't quite know how to do it, right? How do you maintain a high standard when you're also trying to not make a mess? Well, it's all related.
Yeah.
Right. It's all one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and by definition, it's like raising the bar is going to require something that's going to be unfamiliar in a sense, right? Because the bar would already be there if it was familiar.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take on some water, right, into the ship.
Yeah. No, but that you said that beautifully, because that was something when we started few years ago, we were up against.
Yeah.
Right? It's that, why are you reading more books? Why are you doing more research? Let's just do it. And then it would fizzle out because then I would get frustrated because we're not moving. And I'm like, well, I'm just putting my energy into something that never going to happen because he's in his books and whatnot, but nothing is moving forward because of the perfectionism.
Well, and this is actually another piece we haven't really talked about with the dynamic of your numbers is you have a physical number, which like you want tangibility, whereas Lee has a more intellectual number. So he wants things to make sense. He wants to understand. So the default is going to be to intellectualize, and the default for you is going to be something physical or tangible, right?
100%.
Check.
Check and check. Yes. Right. So maneuvering that. At some point, it almost, because we didn't understand each other, our marriage almost fell apart.
Yeah.
Right? Like there comes a breaking point where it's like, what the heck are we doing? Like this isn't working for you or for me. But when we did the work, we sat down, we processed a lot of things, we got a better understanding of where each of us are, and then came together. It's like, where do we want to go?
Yeah, it's not just about learning about yourself and stopping there. It's doing that and then sharing it so that your partner can also learn about the stuff you're learning about yourself, so they can see you differently. And it's not the destination. because here we are continuing that process, you know, learning about ourselves more and more and more. There's always something that you still don't know, that you don't even know. Right? About yourself.
And we're all growing, like each season in life, each, you know, decade, even within 5 years, we're different people.
Within a year, arguably.
Yes,
time is moving in such a fast pace these days, right?
And life changes. Like, it does throw you curveballs, unexpected events, and you have to pivot. And the more you practice or work that gear, the easier those pivots are going to be.
Exercise that muscle, right?
Yeah. It's just doing it, you know, and having the tools is so important.
Having the tools, having people to help you, to reflect back, have to have those conversations with. Yeah.
So again, super excited. I'm going to plug this in again because I did it with Dr. Tracy and Dr. Jason. We are going to be having a couples retreat, and Meaghan's going to be part of that, where we bring together modalities and different systems to give you a better understanding of where you are, who you are, and where you want to be.
Yeah. You want to scale your life, you need to scale yourself.
Yes.
Right? Scale yourself, then you can scale your relationships.
Then you can scale your business.
That's right. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
MeaghanAlton.com. Or you can find me on Instagram, Meaghan Intuitive Strategist on Instagram. And send me a little DM and I'll calculate your numbers for you.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing your amazing gift. It is a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're looking forward to working with you and sharing our gifts with the world, because you guys need it. Just saying. Not just you guys. True. We all need it. We all need it, because when you are on the other side, there's so much beauty and so much power once you get over that hump and lean into the possibilities that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, until next time.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.